Been bumped down the pecking order when you go to the website.
Is my favourite source for royal news, and quite right, not that we're biased. Harry said in his BBC interview that he was forced to step away from royal duty due to security concerns. I thought Harry and Meghan had decided to...
If you betray the monarchy, mock it, challenge it, and cash in on it, you don't get to keep its perks. A royal title isn't a souvenir or a status symbol handed out for showing up. It's a mark of loyalty, duty, and earned trust. And according to Parliament, Prince Harry has violated all three.
Apparently, palace officials have been trying their hardest to strip Harry of his titles, but...
The renewed push to invoke the Titles Deprivation Act isn't just a symbolic gesture. It's a scalpel aimed at cutting Harry's final royal thread. If passed, it won't matter how many Netflix contracts, book deals, or podcast gift baskets Meghan rolls out. This would be the reset. No more HRH, no more Duke of Sussex. Just Mr. Harry Windsor, living in Montecito with a security detail, household staff, and the echo of what used to be. And how's Harry handling it? Not well. Sources say he's furious and unraveling, pacing the halls of his mansion like a lion in a gilded cage. He's reportedly called the move vindictive, driven by envy and press pressure. But this isn't a tabloid smear job. This is government. This is law. This is what happens when you bite the hand that raised you and still expect a crown with your dessert. Behind the scenes, insiders say Harry's legal team is scrambling, hunting for any technicality to salvage at least some fragment of the title. But there's no soft landing here. Parliament isn't just reacting. They're drawing a line in ink. Because if Harry gets to keep his title after everything, what's to stop the next royal defector from cashing in and walking away untouched? Where does the monarchy finally say enough?
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement. They are very dependent
imagine
on each
if
other.
Meghan's camp isn't staying silent either. Her team is firing back, accusing the UK of bullying, racism, and attempting to silence a biracial woman who had the courage to speak out. But the public isn't rallying behind it anymore. The narrative has shifted. This isn't about race. It's about respect, protocol, and consequence. You can't package your grievances, sell them for millions, and still expect the institution you publicly dismantled to hand you a crown.
Not distinguish between private or commercial use of the HRH. It reads, with the Queen's blessing, the Sussexes will continue to maintain their private patronages and associations.
Let's not pretend this is the first warning shot. Queen Elizabeth spelled it out clearly. Step back from royal duties, and you forfeit the privileges. That meant no HRH, no taxpayer-funded security, and no turning the royal brand into a business. But Harry and Meghan nodded politely, then lit the match with Oprah. Since then, it's been betrayal after betrayal, each one louder than the last. And now, the House of Lords has had enough. The timing says it all. Harry loses his legal fight over publicly funded security. Then hours later, he's on the BBC, voice quivering, calling for reconciliation. Reconciliation? After a memoir accusing his brother of violence, his stepmother of manipulation, and his father of abandonment? Please. Even more disturbing, he casually mentions not knowing how much longer his father has to live, a chilling aside dropped like a press hook. Every moment, every quote, every shot of Diana's grave feels less like grief and more like strategy. But here's the thing. Britain's done playing.
Again, of their royal titles, the New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired.
The press has turned. The public has turned. Even the palace, usually stoic and silent, is quietly stepping aside and letting Parliament do the heavy lifting. That's the genius of it. Charles doesn't have to be the king who cuts off his son. He gets to be the monarch who simply honors the will of the people. Clean hands, full consequence. And the momentum? It's not just symbolic anymore. What started as a fringe petition with a few thousand signatures has exploded past 100,000 and counting. These aren't internet trolls or royal diehards. They're ordinary Britons, people from Sussex, London, Edinburgh, the same ones who mourned Diana, who toasted William and Kate's wedding. They're not furious that Harry left. They're furious that he keeps coming back to take.
Prince Harry and the Duchess of Montecito should lose their official royal title.
He took the sympathy. He took the spotlight. He took the title. But he gave nothing back. Not grace, not truth, not an ounce of restraint. Just a rolling tide of grievances dressed in California charm. And now, if Parliament moves forward, and all signs say they will, Harry won't just lose the title, he'll lose the power it lends. Hollywood might still pick up the phone, but the sheen will fade. Without the Duke of Sussex, Harry becomes just another ex-royal with a memoir and a mic. As for Meghan, she's a former duchess with a failed Spotify deal and a line of HRH-branded lotion. That's the twist Harry never saw coming, not a feud with William, not silence from his father, but a full-scale institutional purge. Quiet, lawful, final. This isn't revenge. It's reckoning, because you can't spend years torching your heritage and expect the crown to keep the door open. If Parliament invokes the Titles Deprivation Act, the title disappears overnight. No soft exit, no public farewell. And that would set a precedent so sharp, so irreversible, no royal exile could ever monetize the monarchy again. This isn't petty. It's precedent. It's the line between birthright and betrayal. Let's be honest, Harry hasn't exactly stayed silent. From Oprah to Anderson Cooper, from Netflix to that 400-page grenade spare, he's wrung the monarchy dry for every story, every slight, every dollar. And the public? They've had enough. They watched him auction family trauma like a reality pitch. Now they want the one thing left tying him to royalty, his title, gone. Sources say Harry was blindsided, stunned by the seriousness of the House of Lords discussion. He never thought it would go this far. But when you burn every bridge, behind you, don't act surprised when no one's building a rescue raft. This is the Crown's quiet vengeance. No explosive statements, no theatrical exiles, just the slow, surgical rhythm of British law, measured, relentless, unstoppable. And Meghan? She's not easing the tension. That now infamous podcast gift basket, the one labeled "From Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex," may have been the final straw. After everything, she's still flaunting the HRH she was asked not to use. A title that represents duty, discretion, service, now slapped on lifestyle branding and PR swag. Parliament noticed. That HRH signature might be remembered as the moment the tide turned. Because once you start title-washing podcast merch like it's Buckingham's Etsy, you cross into royal satire. And Britain doesn't do satire in its institutions. It does standards.
Is planning to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles when he ascends to the throne.
For years, Prince William kept to the Windsor script, silent, composed, above the fray. But that patience is gone. Behind palace walls, sources say he's now quietly supporting the push to strip Harry's title, and may even be nudging it forward. Because to William, this isn't about sibling rivalry anymore. It's about protecting the crown. Every time Harry steps in front of a camera or drops another bombshell, William's role gets harder. The institution looks fractured. The future king looks helpless. And for a man raised to preserve stability, above all else, that's not just inconvenient, it's untenable. This isn't personal. It's triage.
To finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles, Riley Sullivan.
He can't let Harry keep dragging the monarchy through the California mud. And King Charles? He's not rushing to his son's defense either. No public support, no warm gestures, just silence. The same son who's accused him of racism, neglect, emotional coldness again and again. At this point, Charles knows that stepping in would only fuel the fire. So he's stepping back. It's a classic move. Let Parliament be the enforcer while the monarch plays the constitutional purist. If the title gets stripped, Charles gets what he needs. Clean distance, no fallout. He's not the Punisher. He's the impartial king upholding the will of the people. Cold? Absolutely. Calculated? Definitely. But it might be the monarchy's smartest play yet. And the public? They're more than on board. Recent polls show 62% of Britons support revoking Harry and Meghan's remaining titles. Among older voters and traditional royalists, support rockets past 70%. Even younger demographics, the ones who once championed the couple's freedom narrative, are turning away. Why? because they feel duped. The Oprah special, the Netflix docuseries, the We Want Privacy tour, it's all worn thin. What was once vulnerability now reads as exploitation. They didn't reject royal life. They rebranded it and sold it for millions. And now, even Sussex, the region Harry supposedly represents, is signing the petition in waves. There's no loyalty left, just resignation and frustration. One local put it bluntly. He's not our Duke. He's just a Netflix actor with a title.
I just find it very uncomfortable, and I think a huge number of your viewers would agree, that you either respect the system.
Harry's biggest miscalculation wasn't leaving royal life, it was thinking he could still leverage it, that he could walk away, torch the palace on the way out, and somehow keep the gold from the ashes. But Parliament is about to crush that illusion. And here's the twist no one saw coming. American media is starting to turn too. The same talk shows, glossy magazines, and sympathetic interviewers that once rolled out the red carpet are suddenly asking tougher questions. Even late night, comedians are piling on. Behind the scenes, Hollywood executives, once eager to buy whatever the couple was selling, are whispering that the royal brand is losing its luster. Because without the title, without the mystique, what's left? Two extremely wealthy former royals in a California mansion selling a narrative that fewer and fewer people are buying. Their empire was built on two things: royalty and victimhood. Take one away and the other collapses quickly. And here's the final dagger. The crown doesn't need them anymore. The firm has stabilized. William and Kate's popularity is soaring. Even Queen Camilla, once publicly maligned, is quietly gaining national respect. The spotlight has shifted back to tradition, stability, and duty. Harry and Meghan? They're not the main story. They're the chaos the monarchy outlasted, a cautionary footnote in a centuries-old institution. Now, all eyes are on Westminster. The petition to revoke their titles is gaining momentum. Parliamentary debate is heating up. The legal gears are grinding forward. And Harry, he's watching it unfold, powerless, angry, and perhaps beginning to understand what happens when you turn your crown into content and your family into fodder. He set out to change the system. Instead, the system is about to change him. And as the machinery of law and public opinion kicks into full force, the consequences are spilling beyond even Hollywood's cynical expectations. Behind closed doors in Westminster, the debate has shifted.